CM Punk, Ariel Helwani goes viral after bombshell interview. This interview was probably one of the best interviews I've heard in a very, very long time. You know, CM Punk, he don't go to people podcasts. He don't really interview like that. Ariel Helwani, I never seen none of his interviews. This is my first interview I ever seen from him, and I must say, he's sharp. I could see why he has millions of subscribers. I could see why he has a huge following. What a perfect interview he conducted with CM Punk. He asked him the tough questions, and we're going to break this down right now on Bobby Monsoon 215. Bobby Monsoon 215. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, my fingers be having a mind of their own sometimes. But let's get right into it. CM Punk interview. He talks about squashing the beef with Triple H. He sets it off from the rip. We take it all the way back from how do you even come out at Survivor Series in Chicago? How does this even happen? We know it didn't happen out of nowhere. We knew something had to be happening before you just show up at Survivor Series and you're back. He talks about squashing the beef with Triple H and Paul Levesque. That's the first point of contact. You know, throughout the interview, he was saying how Tony Khan wanted him in WWE. Even before Tony Khan became the whatever he is, CEO, CFO, you know. I'm broke, so I don't even be understanding a lot of the higher up terms. But he was one of them higher up terms within WWE. Who was his name? Not Tony Khan. What's that dude name? What's the fucking dude name? Was it Nick Khan? Yo, let me see. I can't remember this nigga name. Nick Khan. There we go. We got Nick Khan, man. All right. Nick Khan, he was a higher up in WWE. CM Punk was explaining, and he was just like, yo, man, Nick Khan wanted me back before I left. And before you come back, you gotta get things right with a few people. And Triple H, Paul Levesque was one of them, the head of creative. And let me make this clear. When I'm shitting on creative, it's not Triple H. Triple H isn't just the head of creative. I'm almost certain he's doing a million other things within the company. He is the head of creative. He's the final stop. But you got, like I always say, 100 other writers and you probably got managers and supervisors and assistants, supervisors and all this other bullshit in the WWE creative department. Triple H can't sit here and babysit all these writers at every single point. They got agents too of like matches or whatever. I heard that term before, but let me not go on a tangent on that. Triple H, the head of creative. CM Punk had to get it right about with him. He had a bunch of fly shit to say, and you know you're not coming back without getting that right with Paul Levesque. So he talks about squashing the beef with Paul Levesque, and Punk comes off as a very, very genuine guy, and I feel like that's why a lot of people connect with him. It's just like, it feels like I could be CM Punk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I started a YouTube channel. I have, like, I think 25 subscribers. Let's just say 20 subscribers now. But I feel like I could be successful because I look at somebody like CM Punk and he doesn't have, like, when you look at Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, the final boss, you could look at The Rock and say, man, I don't think I'm ever going to reach his physique. I don't think I'm ever going to reach his level of success. I don't think I'm ever going to reach his stature. And it's like you see somebody like CM Punk and it's still one of the greatest to ever do it, still a high stature, still a millionaire, still very successful. And I look at somebody like CM Punk and think, wow, I could really obtain that. I think that's why a lot of people connect with him. A lot of us regular people, we love that about CM Punk. And yeah, man, I'm kind of mad at myself because I missed CM Punk whole stint in AEW. Like I said, I only watched one episode of AEW. That's when, whenever you look at my videos, when I say this is my first time watching AEW, this was my first time. I'm recording this on Tuesday, April 2nd. April 3rd, I will be tuning in to AEW. I think it's called Dynamite on TBS. I'm catching up on my AEW shit. So these fans that be in the comments or that be messaging me when I'm in other people's comments shitting on me because I'm a fucking green at AEW, I apologize, man. Give me some time to catch up. And when I catch up, I'm going to give y'all that AEW content. I'm going to still give it to y'all anyway. But I'm not about to sit here and lie to you and make it sound fly to you. I never seen an episode of AEW. That's just a fact. I only watched one so far. Give me some time to catch up. I'm gonna catch up and don't even worry about it. Back to the story though. He talks about how Bayley, I told you that was one of my favorite girl wrestlers, but she was the babyface Bayley. Bayley invited CM Punk backstage when they was in Raw. I think he said maybe 2014, 2015. I can't really remember. Bayley invited him backstage and he was there for a little minute. He kicked it with a few people, and he ran into the biggest boss, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Told him, get his ass out the building. Told security, get his ass up out of here. And that Vince and CM Punk relationship dynamic is... man, it's like oil and water, to say the least. You know what I mean? It's like you got Vince is the boss of all bosses, and you got CM Punk, you know, just a regular cool ass guy. Like he'll take the fucking train somewhere and be like, yo, what's up? Take a selfie with you and all. And it's like I said, it's just oil and water with Vince. They was never going to be cool in this lifetime. And he told him to get out of here. And, you know, Punk left. And that was an interesting story to hear. Says no more than 10 people knew he was coming back, you know. So, you know, the Vince McMahon stuff started happening, the allegations. First he left, then he came back, then everything was in limbo. Then when he finally left, I feel like them talks started revving up of CM Punk coming back. And how he's talking, I feel like Nick Khan actually may have spearheaded them talks of like, no, we need CM Punk back. Let him get it right with Triple H. Triple H is always going to do what's best for business. So there was never going to be a problem with that at all. He said no more than 10 people knew he was coming back. He actually said that you can't count on two hands who probably knew that he was coming back that night at Survivor Series. Then he's talking, he's having some good dialogue. Then he says the locker room is much friendlier now. He said before, man, it was dog eat dog, and I can only imagine. See, I was there at the Attitude Era. I actually went to one of the Raws I went to the Raw that came in Philadelphia. I'm actually on TV, and I'm going to show it on one of these episodes. I'm like 9 years old, I believe, or maybe 10 years old, and that was the Raw where Dude Love, he had Stone Cold behind one hand behind his back, and he beat him up. It broke my heart completely, but I'm just saying that to say I was there in the Attitude Era, and you had the top of the top stars. And it was cutthroat. And even though Punk didn't come in the Attitude Era, he came a little bit after that. But still, it's still cutthroat. You still got Cena. You still got Orton. He still had The Rock around because that's when The Rock was going with Cena. You still had Undertaker, Kane, like he said. You still had a lot of top guys in WWE. And the locker room was cutthroat. And when you got somebody like, see, Paul Levesque, Triple H, he's more with the times, you know what I mean? He understands it's 2024. You know, we gotta integrate women a certain way. You know, we can't just have women that just look good, and all the women even look good, but they gotta perform good. They gotta cut promos. We gotta show that these women can perform on the level of the men. You know, Vince McMahon, he was on some, not pertaining to the women, but I could see Vince McMahon more on some cutthroat stuff, you know what I mean? As far as just competition-wise. I feel like Vince got the personality. He don't like that friendly shit. He wants to be number one. He wants to dominate. He don't only want to beat the competition. He wants to buy the competition out. That's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And he says the locker room is a lot friendlier now. And for me, what I prefer is a lot friendlier locker room, to be honest. I know I sound like a pussy, but I just think people work better when they're more collaborating together. You know, the competition is always going to be there. It's always going to be competition. You know, even with Roman and The Rock, you know, they're cousins. They're part of the bloodline. They're part of the same team, but it's still that competition. You know, it's still that if Roman sell out more T-shirts or sell out more merchandise, or you know what I mean, it's still that friendly competition that's good. That's basically what I'm trying to say. He talks about how he started, you know what I mean, when he did got back on board. Now I'm thinking about it, Vince was still in the company when he got back on board, because he tells the story how he was working out in the gym, and he was on the phone with Tony Khan, and one of Vince's trainers said, yo, no. Hang up that phone. You can't be on the phone. Vince don't like that. He said, okay. And you know what's crazy? People talk a lot of shit about Punk, but watching this interview, I really feel like this dude was really, really genuine. I can't see CM Punk acting tough. Now, we know he could whip on some ass if he wants to, but I just didn't get that from CM Punk. I really feel like he told him, yo, man, get off the phone. Hey, man, even, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like CM Punk don't get in his bag unless he really has to. But he runs into Vince at the gym. Oh, yeah, man, let me give you a hug, man. Glad to be back. You know, Vince tried to do that father thing. And, you know, a lot of people say Vince was like a father figure to him. I feel like Undertaker said that before. And a lot of people have said that before. I'm sure Triple H, if he didn't say it, he definitely, you know what I mean, feels that way. CM Punk didn't want no parts of that. Nigga, I already got a father. You're my boss. Let's keep it at that. That's something I would say. Once again, just seeing Punk being so relatable. That's like my boss trying to be my father figure. And I'm like, what? You're paying me fucking $17 an hour. Fuck out of here, dog. Like, be my boss. Keep your distance. Let me do whatever I have to do to get out of this fucking hamster wheel that I'm in. But don't let me go on a tangent. But, so he kind of dismisses the father role thing. He doesn't really want to get close to Vince. I think Vince, that probably hit, you know, that struck a nerve in Vince's ego. I'm speculating, but, you know, it's Vince McMahon. You don't want to be my friend? I could see Vince saying that. He was asked about the Vince McMahon allegations. Says he can't believe how dumb he was for leaving such a paper trail. Now, my thoughts on this whole situation, I just think it's really unfortunate. We got Vince McMahon. We on WrestleMania 40. He been doing this 40 plus years. And I like to watch talking about that because there's real people involved. You know, you got real people lives that's been affected on both ends, you know, on the victim side and her family side. Then you got people, innocent bystanders like Shane McMahon, and fuck Shane McMahon. No respect, but I'm saying fuck Shane McMahon because he's a grown ass man. He know how to handle his shit, but you still got kids with that last McMahon name. And if you know, like going to middle school or high school, kids are fucking cruel. So that'd be the first thing somebody try to throw in your face, some stupid ass anything shit on the internet, whether it's true or not. It's just when kids have to get involved with the fuckery that's going on in the internet, it's just not good, you know. But CM Punk and Ariel wasn't scared to ask him straight up about the Vince McMahon allegations, and CM Punk, being CM Punk, told him straight up, man, that was bullshit. And if it definitely is true, get Vince the fuck out of here. And I feel the same way. It's just very, very unfortunate. But he said he didn't read the full lawsuit. I fuck with CM Punk, but I don't believe him. I don't believe he sat there and read the whole transcript, but I think he knows a lot more than what he alludes to. But he's playing this weird game of he still wants to be cool. He still wants to relate to all of us, and he still wants to be true to himself. but he also has to play this balance of politics too. It's a very, very tricky balance. It's a very, very thin line that you have to walk when you're playing politics, because, you know, he got that call from Paul, he got that call from Nick, he got that call from whoever's higher up. And it's like, you know, I know you're going on this podcast, but let's just stand clear of this, and this. You know, do your regular CM Punk shit, be unfiltered. But let's stand clear from being specific. Punk did it perfectly, and that's why he's one of the greatest to do it. Moving along, he was asked, what was the plan for WrestleMania 40? This was such a good question. I had to subscribe to this dude's channel, man. He's such a great interviewer. I only see him on Joe Rogan, I believe. I got to watch a lot more of his content. I love how this dude interviews. What was the plan for WrestleMania 40? He asked him straight up, man, was it supposed to be you and Seth? And he didn't really make anything concrete, CM Punk. But, you know, he did say that he would have been okay if the plan was Seth versus Punk. And, you know what I mean? And whatever WWE Creative put on paper, he was going to look at it, then he was going to say, okay, and he was going to execute. And that's what the great ones do. There's going to be times where WWE Creative writes complete bullshit, and you got to tell them, like, no, this is trash. But a lot of the times, you just got to trust the process, especially if you got somebody like Paul Levesque leading the way. It's because I feel like CM Punk, a talent like CM Punk, right, he's not going through like probably somebody with, let's say, a Maxine Dupree or maybe Chad Gable, or they're going through like the other people in creative, then it still has to get passed by Paul. I feel like somebody like CM Punk, a talent like that, directly to Paul. Seth Rollins, directly to Paul. The Rock, he has his own fucking set of writers, but they still collaborate with Paul. Roman, directly to Paul. And Seth versus Punk at WrestleMania 40 would have been incredible. I really feel like right now it's in the air where CM Punk is gonna go, but then again it's not, because all the shit Drew McIntyre been talking, we don't want nothing else from CM Punk but him to see about Drew McIntyre talking all that shit for all these months. If Drew McIntyre resigned, we're in for a fucking treat. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. And my predictions, if they fight at SummerSlam, I hope Punk puts McIntyre over. I know everyone wants to see Punk win, but at this stage of the game, McIntyre we call him, he fresh blood. You know what I mean? He's at the top of his game. You know, Punk is at the end of his career where he would do more by losing to a Drew McIntyre than beating a Drew McIntyre, you know? So we're going to see how that plays out. Moving along. Now, look, this is the AEW stuff. So once again, my AEW people who follow me, I seen that first episode of AEW Dynamite, and I have a whole new respect for AEW, the AEW fans, Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, everybody at AEW. I think Mark Henry's over there, Dustin Rhodes, everybody over there, what they're doing, I've really, really, really enjoyed what I liked. And I'm going back in the archives and I'm watching a lot of old AEW, so I'm going to catch up. But he started talking about AEW, and they had a pay-per-view at like in London. I don't know if it was Wembley Stadium or not, but let's just research. Hold on, let's research AEW program in London. Oh no, hold on, Google tripping. AEW program, and let's search this real quick. All in London at Wembley Stadium. Okay, it was Sunday, August 25th, 2023. So he was talking about this, and It was very interesting. Now, some of the guys he's referring to, I really don't know. Like the boy Jack. Let me see what happens if I put CM Punk and Jack Perry. So it's Jack Perry. I didn't even know his name. Let me see what this dude looks like. Jack Perry. Oh, he looks cool. I gotta do some research on Jack Perry. So it was CM Punk fought Jack Perry. He was talking about this, but let's just start at, he talks about how he was stranded at the airport in London. CM Punk, one of the biggest stars of professional wrestling, flies in after a long flight straight into London, one of the hottest tickets in London, and then they leave him stranded at the airport. What? I don't even understand something like that. Like I said earlier in this video, I'm making $17 an hour. Tony Khan, you could have hired me, man. I would have made sure Punk would have got picked up. Shit, I would have been Punk driver that whole day. You would have paid me $20 an hour. That would have been good. As long as I could be backstage at the AEW, I could dap it up with the wrestlers, take a few pics. You know what I mean? I could hit the catering, get some free food. I would have been good, man. I ain't hard to please, but he left him stranded at the airport. Now, of course, Tony Khan, he's not going to pick him up. Tony Khan is like a Vince McMahon. He's the owner of the company. He has more important shit to do than be picking CM Punk up from the fucking airport. But this is a job that you obviously delegate for, it doesn't take a lot of money for somebody to pick CM Punk up. Shit, call him a fucking Uber or something. Call him a cab, call him a Lyft to have nobody, nothing there, no communication. It's a direct spit in the face to somebody like CM Punk, and that was unfortunate. So he's asking Tony Khan to be let go because before he didn't get picked up in London, they had previous problems. Tony Khan kept saying no. He starts to explain the situation with him and Jack, and it's incredible how Ariel how he's navigating the conversation because Punk was trying not to go there, but Ariel has a way when you're talking to him in a podcast, you just want to open up. You're just sipping. You don't even think the camera's on. It's just like, all right, man. It's just like a regular conversation. At the end, it's like, oh, fuck, this is recorded and it's coming out and being sent to millions. I honestly believe when Punk walked in, he had no idea he was going to be going that in detail about the AEW situation, but we all loved it. And even though I don't know too much about AEW right now, I still loved hearing the backstory of it. He says Jack wanted to do a segment and Punk said no politely. So the segment was Jack wanted to have a pipe and bust his fucking car window. Why? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a lot of the context of it. I think the segment was trash anyway from what I'm hearing. I'm not hearing no other context. You want to take a pipe and bust CM Punk window out of his rental car. Okay, then what happens after that? Do you drag him out the car? Do you beat him with the pipe? What do you do after that? I don't know. But Jack Perry wanted to do it. Punk says no. He said Tony says no. I always mess up his last name. I don't even want to butcher it. Tony said no. Everybody said no. Tony and the boy Tony Khan didn't even fucking I don't even think he even said no. I think he said nothing. But see, this one thing about Tony Khan got to learn from people like Vince and Paul. You can't be scared of these wrestlers, man. Like when you cutting the check, when your name is on that check, you gotta tell people nah, that ain't happening. Nah, you do that shit, you the fuck out of here. Cause it's just a slippery slope once you try to be a little bit too nice. Nice guys always finish last. But Jack goes out and says something about Punk in the ring. Now, I'm not sure what he said. He referred to the glass thing. It obviously pissed Punk off. Then Punk asked Tony Khan, yo, handle that or I'ma handle that. And this is right before he goes and fights Samoa Joe. So Punk could have been irate and he could have left and he could have fucked the whole show up by not fighting Samoa Joe. But if you ask me, Punk was pretty professional. He still fought for Samoa Joe. He still gave the fans what they wanted. He went backstage and he went to go handle that though, because Tony Khan didn't. And I feel like Jack was fighting, then he came back from the match. Punk approaches him, asks him, yo, why you keep doing this internet shit on TV, man? Jack Perry says, nigga, you don't like that, do something about it. Then Punk says something like, he choked him just a little bit. And so if I'm thinking of this in my head, Jack Perry like, yo, yeah, I said that shit, what's up? Do something about that shit. Punk said, all right. And I feel like Jack Perry, I'm just looking at pictures of him, and you know, you can't judge a book by its cover, but he looks like a guy that when he said that, he probably looked away, did some internet, did some wrestling shit, and Punk put him in that chokehold. You know when Vin Rames choked Baby Boy? I did 22 years, boy. Yo, that shit is hilarious. Choked the fuck out that boy. So Jack Perry, right before he passes out, Punk lets him go. I'm pretty sure that's his version of a little bit. Punk lets him go. Samoa Joe says, stop it. Then they stop. Then, that's when he went out to wrestle Samoa Joe. So he choked him out first. Then he went out to wrestle Samoa Joe. And then they have a great match. He talks more troubles about AEW and a lot of stuff he didn't say because of the non-disclosure agreement. Okay, I really don't give a fuck about that, to be honest, because I don't know what I don't know. So it was a lot of stuff he can't say because of the NDA, and if he hurt his tricep because it was in the ring or because of a fight. I wonder why Tony Khan made him sign that NDA. Let me tell you something. Tony Khan give me the kind of vibes to where, all right, he offered the NDA, he signed it, but I think Tony Khan gets fed up. I feel like he's going to be on somebody's podcast and saying his side of the truth. You know, he's one of them guys that he likes to, he don't like the narrative to be too negative, it seems. So wrapping up in this interview, he says he doesn't regret coming back to wrestling because, he left WWE. He did his UFC thing. He was chilling. He got married, all of this stuff. Came back to wrestling, but it wasn't WWE. It was AEW. Put AEW on the next level. And things didn't work out there. Then what happens? He shows up. My eyes will see approach your person. He shows up at Survivor Series, and when I seen that, I was like, CM Punk. I couldn't believe it. I snapped when I see CM Punk come out. I'm glad to have CM Punk back, man, and I'm glad that it's 2024 too. So we're not just getting the great promos, we're just getting this great conversation from CM Punk, and he's looking forward to host WrestleMania. We wish he was in WrestleMania, but that wasn't in the cards. The universe didn't grant that, so CM Punk gonna take what he could get, and this is a perfect example of how humble CM Punk became. He's hosting WrestleMania. He's just talking shit. I feel like CM Punk told Paul, man, whatever you want me to do. You want me to be a ref. You want me to be in a concession stand. You want me to be commentary. You want me to set up the ring. You want me to put up the Titantron. You want me to sing the national anthem. Punk just humbled himself, and he completely just happy to just be back home and be a part of WrestleMania in any capacity. I feel like he's appreciating the moment a lot more, and you see he has a lot of gray hairs. Some gray hairs come with experience. I got a few coming in too, but he's elevated on a man time, and I feel like on man time, he just elevated. And this narrative that he's some type of guy that's fucking people up in the backstage is just, I don't believe it, to be honest. So I'm interested to seeing what's coming up next in Punk and AEW. I mean, in WWE. I think Triple H gonna write some great things for him. He said his tricep is feeling better, and Drew McIntyre's gonna win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania Night 2. And man, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, that's gonna be one for the history books. So let me know what y'all think about this. CM Punk, Ariel interview, Bobby Monsoon 215. Like, comment, subscribe. It's Tuesday now. I'm going to drop this tomorrow. I'm going to watch AEW. And then I'm going to recap SmackDown that Friday. Then, of course, we got WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2. Then we got the Raw. We got a packed weekend of just content. And I'm on top of it, y'all. Trust me. I'm on top of it. It's Bobby Monsoon 215. I appreciate the comments, appreciate the likes, appreciate the views. Stay tuned. We got some good shit coming. Bah!